Let's welcome Kathy Holly and Spotlight.
Everybody, welcome to Spotlight. I am high above the hills in San Francisco. We're taping from my condominium. I'm so excited that we can do this. I mean, modern science and technology is just wonderful. I've been doing the show Spotlight from here for about a year. And tonight's guests are wonderful too because they are in their individual places. And I'd like to introduce you to two wonderful people who are artists, who are musicians. First one is Carmen Ratti. Carmen, hi, it's great to have you on the show.
Here, Kathy. Thank you
The
very much.
Carmen Ratti Band, right? Fantastic. We're going to find out more about you and the band. And your wonderful singer in the band is Jill Dineen. Jill, welcome.
Okay, thanks for having us.
You're welcome. It's wonderful to have both of you. I'm glad you are available. It would be good, though, to know that you're not as available. And I know how the business is right now. It's getting better, as everybody says. Oh, it's getting better, it's getting better. But I want it to be 150% better so we're all out there singing, playing music, people, flocking to the clubs. That would just be wonderful. It's going to happen, but it's a little slow in happening, right? And Carmen, you've moved. I know that I had the wonderful opportunity to teach your darling daughter's music at Good Shepherd in Pacifica. And I know you were playing in Pacifica with your band. Now you've moved somewhere. Where are you living?
We moved to Fair Oaks, out next to Folsom, outside of Sacramento, in October.
In October. Oh, that's so great. And
Oh,
tell me, are you going to send some sun here to San Francisco?
we have spots of it. I saw a few spots today. I was in Pacifica today, last 2 days, so it was beautiful there. You got
That's
back,
great.
it was all cloudy, foggy.
I remember when I was teaching, I'd come down the hill from San Francisco along Highway 1. And inevitably by the afternoon, though, it really did clear up. So those rumors about being Pacifica being foggy and cold are not true. Really and truly. Right now, I'm looking out at the fog and it's rolling in here up in Diamond Heights. But that's okay. Anyway, you're going to make some music tonight, I know, and we're going to talk about it. When did you start your band?
Well, the current crew I'm playing with Jill, we started in the beginning of 2019. And we probably played about 15 gigs, and we had 2020 booked up really well until COVID hit, and
Wow.
we had some really great gigs. We were booked at the Club Fox to do a CD release, and booked at the Pumpkin Festival. We were going to be in the Fog Fest, and then the various clubs. There's a club here in Sacramento, the Torch Club, which is their oldest blues club. We had played there in September of 19, and we would have been back in the summer of 2020. So we played solid for about a year, and it hit the planet. And
Right, and that we nobody did. But tell me how you decided to start a blues band. And you yourself did not, as a child, did you study music? How did this really come about?
my first love was the drums, and I was playing in bands by the time I was 15, and I could sight read. But the time I was 18, I went off in a different direction. But that was my first, I believe, my first passion for music was big band drumming, Buddy Rich, um,
Oh, yeah.
big bands that were on Johnny Carson, and I would love to watch. I think it was Ed Shaughnessy, and that stuff really intrigued me. I don't know how I started playing guitar, but I just picked it up about 25 years ago and decided I think I'll play this. This is hard.
Great. And then you decided, are you self-taught or did you take some lessons?
I studied with somebody for about 6 years. In fact, it was the prior guest I was on your show 6, 7 years ago, DC, was a teacher out of the green room in Pacifica, and
Ah,
moved to Austin. But I studied under him. In fact, I was in his band, and we worked together probably 5 days a week. I was studying theory and learning stuff that was hard. And the band took off pretty well, and then it kind of hit the skids, and then I went off in a different direction by myself. And so
so
the lessons were important. They were very
when you studied, were you working on jazz standards and
no more blues, diatonic chord structures, but blues rock. I love smooth jazz stuff, fusiony stuff personally.
personally?
But
Hmm.
I kind of went off in a blues direction. So everything we do, Jill and I do, is kind of rooted around that. But we're not a. I've never felt like or wanted to pursue. We're not a traditional blues band.
That's right, because you do a lot of original material.
Yes, and we still hear on the video when that pops up, and that's
And
blues.
all right, I wanted to ask you, you came up and we had a couple of sessions together. I worked a little bit with your vocals, on your vocals, and I remember you were writing some songs. And I think that that's something as a singer that I've never been able to do much of. And I'm always just really excited about people that can write and come up with the lyrics and the melody. Have you been doing all that by yourself or have you been collaborating?
The collaboration comes to when I bring the songs to the band, and everybody gets a feel of it, and there's always something that'll sprout out and grow. Um, we had a at our big get we played the Club Fox in January, and I had to use a sub keyboard player who's a phenomenal artist. He was on two major record labels when he was young, and he added a couple things to my song by accident, two of the originals that really made it grow a little bigger. And so usually the collaboration starts at that point. Like, here's the songs, let's play them, and then somebody goes, hey, I like this, and we start adding to it, and let it sprout. So that's been great working with the talent like Jill. And Jill takes my songs and sings them, which is that's what I
Yes, I know, it's wonderful. All right, Jill, it's time to meet you now and focus
Sure.
on you. I want to find out more about you. First of all, you said you began singing when you were about 4 years old, right?
Oh yeah, it hit me really early on in school. We didn't really have a music department, but our first grade class or kindergarten first grade class put on a play, and I was chosen to sing a solo song. I remember the song to this day. I had to dress up as a turnip, much to my dismay, but the singing stuck, and that was my first sort of public performance. And throughout my life, I've been involved in every form of music you can think. I've been involved in choruses and musical theater, jazz and blues, especially, and just have really enjoyed it, not only as an important component of my life, but as, I don't know, mental clarity more than anything. It really is important to my overall just happiness as a person.
Yeah, music is a wonderful, wonderful gift to have because you always have it. Can't have it taken away from you. And it's a passion. I agree. I think it's something, you, Carmen, you have a passion. Jill had a passion. I have a passion. And there's nothing like saying it's ageless because it's true. It just is something you don't tell an artist to stop painting. If they're painting, you don't tell a singer or a producer or an actor to stop doing what they're doing. So it's continual. But Jill, your voice is wonderful. What is your background then? You said you sang in a couple of choruses. I noticed, I was reading some of your bio and you were in the San Francisco Girls Chorus. Well, my
Yeah.
daughter was too. And
Oh,
it's a wonderful training ground.
it is, and it's rigorous, which is wonderful when you're 6 or 7 years old to be learning music theory with, some of the most elite musicians in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is rich with musicians, as you know. Uh,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then I started forming like Carmen, I started forming my own bands when I was angsty, 14, 15 years old. I began songwriting around 14 or 15. As soon as I started getting a couple broken hearts under my belt, like that's when it really started coming together for me there. And so I also bring original music to the band, and Carmen's really great about helping to, just flesh that out. And we collaborate a lot. We're a cool group of collaborators, I guess is a good way to put
Well,
it.
that's so great to do that together. I would love, for the audience now to know about the band, and we're going to play a video. I mean, I wish we could have the whole band here live, but the video is wonderful and it gives you, a cross section. But also, before the show is over, I know that there's a gig coming up for the band, and that's going to be in August. And I think it's at the office. Isn't that right, Carmen and Jill?
Yes.
Sunday,
Okay.
2nd at 4 p.m. And it's actually a jam after we perform. It's an open jam after that.
Well, great. That's wonderful. Let's give everyone a taste of what your music is. So if we can break away, everybody, give me your attention onto this wonderful video of the Carmen Ratti Band and Jill Dineen.
Sun comes up, I'm coming down. Too many nights wasted in this town. Out of control, living in a daze. Oh. gave me food. You treated me like a queen. You never was rude. You bought me clothes. Best in town. Whatever was happening, baby, I was always.
I got all the soul I can use. Face down in the blues. Come on, Dave.
Wow, I want to go to see a performance. That was just great. Oh my gosh, that's terrific music. I love it. There's kind of elements, a little bit of rock, blues, everything in there. And by the way, Jill, did you ever listen to Janis Joplin? I don't know why that comes to mind.
I've listened to a lot of the greatest singers of our time. I mean, I love them all.
Well, you really have that quality, a little bit of Joplin. And of course, I think, what I love is, of course, I love Etta James. Do you know some Etta James songs?
Yeah.
I'm sure if you did some covers too, that would be great when you do. I mean, it just, I can, I can feel it. And it's just wonderful. And, Carmen, if you wrote most of those songs,
Oh, I wrote two of those four you heard. Yeah.
two of the four is pretty good. Were the others covers that I should know?
What was, oh, the one I sang is a Marshall Tucker band, which
Uh-huh.
because I love the lyrics.
What about the first one, the I'm coming down,
Original I wrote.
what?
I wrote that original. That's an original tune.
And
That'll
what's the title?
coming down.
Coming down. Okay, good. And the other title of the song you wrote?
Not feeling you.
It's really, I mean, the lyrics are great. I think coming down, I think I might have heard up here when you were with me working on vocals.
There's a good chance. I sang it in the beginning until Jill came to my jam, and I went, no, I want her to sing my stuff. I want to play with this woman here. She came to my jam.
Yeah. Well, she lights up the band. And who is the keyboard player?
That is Baxter Robinson.
Hammond 3 B3 organ.
All day, right? All day. Yes.
I gotta say something. That band, we didn't rehearse, and the drummer and the keyboard player were hired friends, guns. Baxter was on Atlantic and RCA label when he was younger. He came out of UCLA playing music. He had a music composition degree and toured, but didn't make it big enough to do the family thing. And
Yeah. So when you were working with them, were you at the Blues Club in Redwood City?
that show you saw was at the Club Fox in Redwood City.
The Club Fox. Okay, and everybody remember that, the Club Fox in Redwood City. And I know you're going to be at the office in August, and they flashed, the details on the screen. But does the Club Fox still have the Jams Blues session?
Well, that's in fact the office is a gig for Jill and I. It's not the band, but the Club Fox. We're going to do a CD release, all original CDs. We're going into the studio in September, and we're releasing it on October 6th on the Wednesday night. So the Club Fox Blues Jam is still. It just opened up. It opened,
Uh-huh.
and it was a fabulous first night.
Oh, I can imagine. People are itching to get back.
And I would just add, I think the Club Fox helped save many musicians' souls throughout the pandemic because they offered these beautifully produced, taped performances that then could be played later in the week, and gave everyone something to work toward and collaborate on when musicians were sitting at home just wondering when they'd play again. And I hope you can feel all the energy, the pent up energy of isolation coming out in those tape performances. So we want to thank them for doing that for musicians throughout the Bay.
And another tool that everyone has been using is Zoom. Friends of mine performed on Zoom. I did a Facebook live show last October, outdoors. Friends of mine home, friends of mine's outdoor area. It was really great in Marin where there's sun, and it was fun. I mean, anything like that. There's many people that have just been doing home shows, especially keyboard or pianists who sing, jazz pianists. Michael Greensill comes to mind because he's a jazz pianist here in the Bay Area. But Carmen, would you do a little something live right now on Zoom? Would you show us some blues licks on your guitar? And I mean, he does really play, everybody. I want you to know. It's really great to hear you.
Thanks, Kathy. Go.
That's pretty good. I'm telling you, I better start practicing. I always played rhythm guitar and never played any lead. And rhythm guitar is my thing, but I do know a lot of jazz chords and, used to tour playing rhythm and voice. And Jill, when you were working a lot, I noticed I was reading, your bio, you do other things too. I mean, music is part of your life, of course, your passion, but I know that you are CEO of a company. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I believe in living in purpose, and who you are on Sunday is the same person you are on Wednesday, and you're walking in your purpose. And so I work in the arts full time. So I run a nonprofit that ensures that kids throughout the Bay Area get visual arts, performing arts, and architecture arts in the classroom. We're called LEAP Arts and Education. We're based in San Francisco. And just like the rest of the world, we've had to adapt all of our classes to distance learning platforms like Zoom with our kids and with school districts last year. So it's been challenging, but we've kept the arts alive for kids when they've needed them most, at home with their families during the last year and a half.
I think that's wonderful. So now tell us how do you do this from your home? You contact schools and then offer?
Right. So we work with about 50 different professional artists. So people like you who have, extensive careers of their own, and then also have some classroom management experience. And we pair them and match make with schools that have specific needs for arts classes for their students. So it could be music class, theater class, sculpture class, architecture. Just depends on the need and the class, the age appropriateness of the class. And so we love our artists, and we did everything we could to keep them working throughout the last year and a half, which was very difficult to do, but yeah.
Very difficult. I know. I was thinking, I worked at Good Shepherd School teaching music, but what I ended up doing was putting on the shows, which is really my forte, I think, getting everything together, choosing the music, giving the kids lines, because acting is in my background too. So, and really children benefit from that. They want to express themselves. And the most difficult thing is watching your teacher on Zoom this last year, learning. I mean, I guess, so when you had something like, acting lessons would have been fun on Zoom, I would think.
I think it called upon everyone's better natures and senses of humor and being creative. So even on Zoom, you can find interesting ways to help kids get the fun out, and try to engage them and have them pay attention in class. But it was a real lesson in, adaptation last year. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Leaps, it's called, again, give us,
Sure. It's LEAP Arts and Education. You can find us at leaparts.org. find out more about what we do, get involved. Of course, we love donations. We're a nonprofit, so thank you for that.
Yes. Oh, I think that's wonderful. I support that 150%. So everybody that's watching this show, please contribute. I think that's great. Nonprofits. And of course, even the station that when I do this show, I have to remind everybody PCT is absolutely just wonderful. It's a great vehicle. I thank them every day for letting me do this show and introducing the community to so many wonderful performing artists. And that's what it's all about. We want to share the wealth, right? We want to,
We want more turnips in the world. So
yeah, more turnips. Yeah. And very good, very good. I think we should have a puppet that's a turnip. I think that'd be great. And Carmen, I know you also work in another business on the side. Your real passion is music, but
don't make enough living playing music to support the three girls. No, I have a awards company. Actually, in the back of Pacifica, 123 Awards. So I've been in that around 25 years, and in the bowling business, I've been in 30. That was my passion after the drums. Was I decided I wanted to be a professional bowler, and I did. I toured the country in the 80s.
really,
I've been in the industry since. Today, I'm still embedded in the industry as a tech rep. Yeah.
well, that's fantastic.
I love it. I love it. I love music more, but
Right, but it's good to have it, it helps your lungs, right? You're bowling, so I mean, and you're playing the guitar. You're using your arms.
Carmen is someone who sets his mind to things and does not stop until they are accomplished. That is who he is.
See, there you go. What a wonderful compliment. I just want to thank both of you for being on the show tonight. It's amazing how time flies. It's funny. I'm glad we had this time together. I'm so glad we had this time. You know who used to sing that? Carol Burnett, right?
Right.
Oh, yes. And it was just great having you. They're rolling the credits. Thank you again. And I want to see you live as soon as possible. Lots of wonderful break a leg. And I hope to see you maybe in August. Who knows?
October 6th.
You mixed up Siciliano. Hung your Genovese to the mambo like a crazy with a hey mambo. Don't wanna tarantella, hey